And through these strategic placement of cutting boards, I think we're going to solve our racing spark issue. Well, that's a Tesla coil. Oh man, I love that ozone. So that was drawing about 17.5 amps, so we can definitely get a little more amperage out of it. If we figure everything in the circuit's designed to handle 20 amps at least before breakers start tripping, we can probably get another couple hundred watts out of the system or into the system. Whether or not we get that out of it, we'll have to see. Temperature checks. The number 6 stranded is definitely warm to the touch. The primary coil, which by the way is 1/4-inch copper tubing, is warm to the touch. The number 8 stranded copper wire that goes to the tap is warm to the touch. Of course, all the connections are going to be a little bit warmer. Bus bar on the caps is cool. The lead wires on the caps are cool. Caps themselves are, of course, ice cold, never even warmed. I can smell the ballast transformers. Cores are maybe between warm and hot. The primaries, I can feel the heat coming off them, so I'm going to have to do something else for ballast. Spark gap, I can feel heat coming off of it, so that I need a bigger spark gap. I think at this point, based on previous calculations, the 120 BPS is not utilizing the capacitor to its fullest extent. Based on calculations, I should really have a 0.2 microfarad capacitor in order to have the cap charged to 100% at the peak of each, at the peak of the AC sine wave. Specs for this coil, in case anyone's curious. We have the GE 60-to-1 potential transformer at 120 volts in, 7.2 kV out, thermally rated to 1500 volt amps. Right now it's current limited to about, like I said, 17.5 amps. 120 BPS rotary spark gap. Let me grab the camera here. Make sure you're still recording. Yes, you are. The secondary coil is 4-inch ID drain pipe that I made almost 10 years ago. No, more than 10 years ago. I think this was 2011 I made this. 20-inch winding length with number 22 magnet wire. 2 corrugated drain pipe top loads. One's a 4.5-inch, one's like a 3.5-inch. 1/4-inch soft copper tubing for the primary. The cap bank is, we'll round it up to 0.1 microfarad. These are the Cornell Dubilier 942C P2015K or something like that. I forget the exact model number. But they're 0.15 microfarad, 2 kV, DC rated. We got 7 strings with 11 in series. Ballast for the transformer. 2 microwave oven transformers with the secondary shorted out, and the primaries in series with the primary, well, what's properly the secondary on this transformer. Of course, I'm running it in reverse. I have a safety spark gap down in there, which still needs a ground point in the middle. The secondary on this transformer is full floating, so if the arcs hit the primary as they have before, the current doesn't have anywhere to go. We have 120 BPS synchronous rotary spark gap. That's PCB, several layers thick. We have brass stationary electrodes, 2 stationary, 2 flying electrodes. This is a 3600 RPM true synchronous teletype motor. And if anyone wants one just like this, I have a second one that I might be willing to part with for the right amount of money. There's your primary cap, or your primary tap point. Of course, it's not going to focus. The ground, the copper bar you see underneath is the ground. There's the ground coming off the secondary. We got a little terminal there that's soldered to the copper strap that's 1/16 of an inch thick. It comes down to here, and then we have 1/aught welding cable that goes right to the ground rod, which is right outside there. So that's basically the coil. You just saw it run. It's running pretty smooth at this point. I need to get a ground point on that safety gap before I run it any further. Of course, the control panel I've shown in an earlier video. There she is. I got AC volts, and I can measure input voltage or output voltage, and I did flip it at one point, and voltage drops when we get to about 90 volts in, or 90 volts out to the transformer, but then it comes back up to where it should be, right there. Not sure what's up with that. And of course our current, which is extremely useful. Running the synchronous rotary spark gap, the current is far more steady. The needle barely moves when we're running that, which shows that we have a consistent bang size from one firing to the next, with the static gap, which is now going to sit over here and